Let's recap the massacre in Oklahoma City. And is Wemby running away with the Rookie of the Year award?
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, this is Hot Rod.
And I'm RC from the Cybertron Spurs.
And you're listening to Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia.
Welcome back to Locked On Spurs right here on the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Glad to have you back. Hope you're having a great work week. We'll keep you going right here on Locked On Spurs, part of the Locked On NBA Network. Find us anywhere you pick a platform, seriously, from iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, Ken's 5 Plus app. Locked On Spurs is everywhere just for you. You guys are the everydayers. So what are we talking about today? We're going to look back at last night's massacre in Oklahoma City. We'll pick three things that stood out for me, or probably stood out in a bad way for me. And then we'll look at the big picture, I guess, for Wemby down the road. He's definitely a bright spot of these last few games. By the way, Spurs on a 6-game losing streak. Is he the runaway right now, at this very moment in time, Rookie of the Year award winner? We'll look at some of his competition and then catch up some Spurs news from Austin Spurs to Blake Wesley and a lot more with our guest Rudy Campos. He'll be joining us in just a few seconds. So about last night, this is how you know it's bad. When the broadcast TNT cuts away from the game to showcase two other games. That's how bad it was. Spurs lost by 36 points. You heard that right. 36 points. That was Oklahoma's largest margin of victory against the Spurs in their franchise history. It gets even better. The Spurs losing again by 30 or more points. That's the second team in NBA history with 3 30-plus point losses in the first 11 games of the new season. You thought that they would be okay in the opening frame, 28-25. Spurs just down 3. They came out with some bite. They were staying competitive, and then the wheels just came completely off. I was telling people during the game, wait till about the end of the second, start of the third, then we'll see if this Spurs team is going to win. And sure enough, that's all you have to do, because this season has been showing a pattern already. Start off strong, fizzle out, get stomped. Start off strong, start fizzling out, get just massacred. That's exactly what happened last night versus Oklahoma City. The Spurs allowed OKC to score 30 points or more in periods 2, 3, 4. The third period, Spurs only mustered up 18 points. They allowed Thunder 33 points in that third. That third period, that was it. They were done. They were done for the night. That's why TNT left into the Spurs game to go showcase two other games as well. I'm sure it was the play-in tournament thing, but nevertheless, that's how bad it was. It was so bad that when they had to go back to the Spurs game, they just said, now we go back to whatever left of this game. What was more embarrassing, this was on national TV. National TV, the Spurs got wrecked. Absolutely wrecked. So what went wrong? We'll start off with turnovers. 24 for the game. Who had the most turnovers for your Spurs? Victor Wembanyama with 5. This is just atrocious. So you add this, the fact that they have 25 turnovers, and then goes to point number 2, another reason why they lost. Tell me if this sounds like a broken record already. Lack of defense. They couldn't get back on transition defense. 23 points they allowed just off the turnovers alone to Oklahoma City. Sure, they didn't have Keldon. Sure, they didn't have Trey Jones. Maybe they would have made the margin less of a sting. Maybe they lose by 20, 18. But it's just embarrassing. And what compounds it more is that it's as if like they lose the fight. And I'm sure it was a chippy. Yes, it was. There saw a lot of hard fouls. So Zach Collins got a little scrap with the Oklahoma City player, Williams. But, it was just – it's like the competitiveness just evaporated. The moment they get punched in the mouth, every single time that happens this year, you see the Spurs wilt. And that's what happened. It was 1 quarter and a half. I'll give them that. And then that was it. So you have 1 turnovers. Could have shot themselves in the foot. Then you go to the defense. Told you some of the numbers already that Oklahoma City had. 23 points off 25 Spurs turnovers, scoring 30 or more points in periods 2, 3, and 4, 33 points allowed in period 3. Thunder shot 51% for the game, while the Spurs shot, point number 3, couldn't find the bottom of the bucket, 38% for the game. For the game. Spurs went 99 for 30 from the 3 line. For 30%. Yeah. I don't want to look at the stat sheet anymore. That's how bad it is. Were there any bright spots? Stephen Vassell again, 24 minutes, 5 for 12 shooting, 12 points. Yeah, but him and Wemby were at least trying to keep this team going. And look, credit the Thunder. They played hard defense. They were getting up on the Spurs. They were being physical with the Spurs. You saw them, pretty much body Wemby. He was on the floor. Zach Collins mentioned he and Williams from the Thunder got into a little shovey match there. So they brought that intensity the Thunder did. Spurs just couldn't match it. They just couldn't match it. So what could be going on? Is this a sign of a young team just still trying to find their way? Is this just basically the same team from last year? We just added Wemby. I mean, what is going on here? Do you want to still give them time? Do you want to say, we're just 11 games into the season. We're not even a third way yet. Okay, fine. But for them to get beat down by 30 or more several times this season, several times already they've been beaten by 40 or more. That's a lot to swallow there. So the defense is still an issue. Turnovers is still an issue. Could it be the point guard spot? Trey Jones was out. They're still experimenting with Sohan. Like I said, credit Sohan. He's been getting better little by little. But you look at the game versus the Thunder, 3 turnovers for Sohan, 9 points, 4 for 11 shooting, and 1 for 1 from the 3 line. He went to the free throw line 0 times. Didn't even get there at all. Assist, he had 5, so there's that. But yeah, so in 6 games in a row now, Spurs dropped to 3-8. Doesn't get any easier. Then we've got the Kings next. Yeah, those guys, they're coming in next to San Antonio. Home game at least, but yeah, I'm stunned. I did not expect this type of effort from the team. I'm going to still wait a little longer. I'm still going to hold out. And maybe this is just them still dealing with getting used to Wemby getting used to them. Sohan, trying to adjust to the new position. He has to deal with guiding the team, being the floor general, and then having to go back and defend some of the best guards in the league, or just players in the league. You were without Keldon, you were without Trey Jones, 2 key pieces to the Spurs team. So sure, but 6 games in a row now. Schedule doesn't get any easier. I mentioned Sacramento's up next. We'll see what the Spurs do. We'll see what they do. I mean, their metal is being tested right now. It really is. We'll see what this team is made of. How are they going to rebound from winning? Let's just say they snap the losing streak against the Kings. Fine, great. Yay, Spurs. But how are you going to maintain that momentum? Will they be able to do whatever they did to get right and keep it going? We'll see what's going to happen. Could there be a lineup change? Maybe. Does it have to happen? Perhaps, if this gets any worse. 6 games in a row to start the season. Start off with 3-2, and then the wheels just came off. Impressive wins versus Phoenix, 2 of them. And geez, hopefully your Spurs will get better. So looking at the final box, you had 13 points from Julian Champagnie, who started. You had 13 points from Zach Collins, 8 points and 11 rebounds. There's your Wemby watch. And 28 minutes, 4 for 15 for him, 0 for 3 from the 3 line. And he had 5 turnovers. Off the bench, you had Malachi Brown with 11 points. So, hey, everybody, the largest lead for the Thunder, 40 points. Points in the paint, 60 for the Thunder. 38 for the Spurs. So they got it worked in the paint. So, yeah, just a bad night. Hopefully the Spurs can rebound from this game. Coming up next, I just want to stop talking about it, really. I'm done. Coming up next, we're going to have Rudy Campos in. We're going to change gears dramatically. We're going to be looking at Wemby, their Rookie of the Year race. Is it pretty much over already? Who is his biggest competition? Who isn't his competition right now? Discuss that and more, including some Spurs news and notes coming up next right here on Locked On Spurs. Our partners at eBay Motors have teamed up with Locked On Fantasy Basketball host Josh Lloyd to bring you some of the best fantasy picks each week, all season long. Whether you're prepping for daily draft or scouting the waiver wire, every week we're going to provide you players that are guaranteed to fit on your roster. So let's see who Josh has picked out for this week's eBay's Guaranteed Fit Fantasy Picks of the Week. And with Wemby Mania in San Antonio, why don't we take a look at his French colleague that's playing pretty well for the Wizards, Bilal Coulibaly. The Wizards rotation continues to be all over the place, but Bilal has played 30+ in the last 2 games, and he is their future massive defensive option. Josh Lloyd from Locked On Fantasy Basketball is going to help you win your fantasy championship, and eBay Motors knows a championship team is about each player being a perfect fit. Same with your vehicle. If you have a personal experience about buying a part from your car from eBay, well then, hey, you're in luck. They'll continue to do that for you. And if you also are thinking about getting a part, then why don't you go to eBay Motors? So, what is your dream ride? What is a favorite memory of your car that you love? Whatever it is, that car, if you do get that dream car, or if you have it, eBay's Guaranteed Fit will work. If you need that cool upgrade to your car, go to eBay Motors. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you can make sure your ride stays running smoothly. Brake lights, brake kits, LED headlights, roof racks, bumpers, whatever your baby needs, eBay Motors has it. And with eBay's Guaranteed Fit, it's guaranteed to fit your ride for the first time, every time, or your money back. Plus, at these prices, you're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive. You want to go to ebaymotors.com right now. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
This is Zach Aguilar, the voice of Tanjiro Kamado, and you're listening to Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia.
And as promised, we are now joined by Rudy Campos of Sweep the League. Follow him on X at Sweep the Lead, rocking that hat that I love. And one day I want to go to his house. I'm going to take it and then act like I didn't know what was going on. He must have lost it. Make sure to follow him on X at Sweep the League. And Rudy, welcome back to Locked On Spurs. Are you ready to handle some heavy topics here? I guess maybe the first topic, the big topic.
Yeah, man, I'm ready to handle it. It's going to be a good topic. It's going to be a very interesting topic. Maybe it'll upset some people, maybe not.
All right. So the big question here is at this point of the season, so early, but is Wemby running away with the higher chance of getting the Rookie of the Year award? Now, Rudy, I think we talked about this before we hit record here. We're going to eliminate Scoot off the bat. His start to the NFL, the NBA season is all but shot. So maybe he'll have a resurgence, but right now we're going to toss him out. So that leaves 4 that we're going to focus on. Wemby, obviously, Chet Holmgren, Brandon Miller, and Ausar Thompson. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. The whole thing with Wemby and the Rookie of the Year, everybody thinks it's a runaway because of it's Wemby's number 1 pick. Former number 1 picks for the San Antonio Spurs tend to just run away with the Rookie of the Year award, but not in this case, as you probably have a player and I have a player that you had mentioned about Rookie of the Year. So it's going to be a little bit tougher for Wemby this season.
All right. Yeah, exactly. I'll get things going. So we'll look at, again, this is ahead of last night's OKC game. So obviously these stats may change a little bit. We got Wemby through 10 games, 19.7 points per game, 8.8 rebounds, 2.5 assists, 2.4 blocks. He's shooting about 45%, 30% from the 3 line, 77% from the free throw line, 50% effective field goal percentage. And so there it is. Those are quick basic stats there. So I'm going to throw out with Chet as perhaps the biggest threat to him. And the numbers are similar, very similar. Okay, so Wemby has the edge on points, 16.4 for Chet. Wemby 19, okay? But rebound is close. Chet is averaging about 8. Assist, they're averaging about the same, 2.5. If you're going to get specific, 2.6 for Chet, 2.5 for Wemby. Here's where it starts getting a little more closer to Wemby's side. So you got the steals, 1.1 for Wemby, just 1 for Chet. And I'm going down the numbers here. The blocks are kind of even, 2.3 for Chet, 2.4 for Wemby. Here's where it gets interesting now. Field goal shooting, just shooting overall, 55% for Chet. 3-point shooting, 50% for Chet. Free throw shooting, 89% for Chet.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say Wemby is the runaway yet. I think Chet is giving him his biggest run right now, isn't he?
Yeah, and the big thing with Chet is that he's on a winning team, and a lot of times when people are voting for the Rookie of the Year, they look at how was your impact toward the team, and obviously the OKC, he's surrounded by some really good players, but his team is winning, so he is actually helping them win. So that's going to give Chet the edge right there. Let the Spurs turn it around and start winning some games here. But you're right on the Chet Holmgren thing. I mean, Victor and Chet, the numbers are very, very similar. So you can say it's a 1-2 race. I'm going to add a third guy here in a little bit for you to keep an eye on. But I love what you said about Chet. This is going to be a rivalry we're going to see for years and years. Remember the Russell and Chamberlain rivalry? It's going to be the exact same thing.
Yeah, these two guys, almost built in a similar mold. Both are mobile. They can shoot the ball. Chet shoots it better. Dare I say Chet maybe has a better handle? Do you think he has a better handle than Wemby?
Yeah, you know what? Let's say this. Chet is a better fundamentally ball handler than Wembanyama. Wembanyama has a little bit more in his arsenal that Chet does. But fundamentally sound, I think Chet gets a little bit slighter of edge on the ball handling.
Yeah. And them two, they go for way back other than just the NBA.
Yeah.
They go exactly. The FIBA tournament, they met there. So we're looking at what Vegas has to say. This is via DraftKings Sportsbook. Right now, Wemby is the odds favorite right now at a -350. Big favorite. But Chet comes in at a +425. And then it just drops. And then it goes into the two guys we're going to probably talk about. Let's get rid of this guy first. Brandon Miller of the Hornets. He's a +2,500 to win the Rookie of the Year award. Brandon Miller, he's not having a bad season, but he's not having what is he, number 3 pick or right? Number 3.
Brandon Miller was good God, 3.
Yeah,
Sorry,
number 3 pick. So a +2,500, the big drop off in the odds. It looks like it's likely going to come down to Rudy, just Chet and Victor, right?
Well, yeah, everybody's saying Chet and Victor, but I've got a guy, Jeff, that you cannot sleep on here, and that is a Sir Thompson. I mean, he's throwing his name in the hat. You're talking about a player that is in the top 5 in 7 categories. That's more categories than Victor is, actually. And I think Victor's in the top 5 in 5 categories. But here's the separation. He's only averaging 11 points. And that's, 8 points below Victor and 5 below Chet. But when he's out rebounding, he's at 10.45 rebounds a game. He's out rebounding both Chet and Victor. He's leading the rookies in rebounds. So that is a big plus. He also is averaging close to 4 assists a game. He's averaging, I think, 1.18 assists a game. But here's the other thing, blocks. He is one of the better guards, small forwards, when it comes to blocks, averaging just under 2 blocks a game, where Victor and Chet are averaging 2+, per game. So this guy, Sir Thompson, again, what's going to hurt him is he's playing for the Pistons. Pistons are not having a great season at all. So, I mean, that's going to hurt his thing there. But overall, when you look at his statistics, they kind of go hand in hand with Chet and Wemby. So don't sleep on a Sir Thompson as a possible Rookie of the Year candidate as well. Yeah,
we were talking about Brendan Miller earlier. Again, through 9 games, not having a horrible season. He's averaging about 13 points a game, 4 rebounds a game, 2 assists, and shooting about 44%. And his 3-point shooting is atrocious, 28%. But again, respectable numbers. But again, I think the whole team thing, it may be impacting him. Charlotte, is not expected to, be any type of noisemakers in the East. Detroit, the same thing for Mr. Thompson out there. So I know Vegas is saying that Wemby is the odds-on favorite. It's not that close, but I can feel as the season progresses that Chet and Wemby, those odds, the difference is going to get maybe narrower as it goes through. I mean, last night, they played against each other. That first half, it was dynamic. We saw them go against each other a couple times. That's what the NBA wants to see. Those two guys have a rivalry, as you mentioned. But would you, as of this moment, would you buy or sell Wemby is running away with the Rookie of the Year award?
100% sell, man. I think
Okay.
I'm selling that. He's not, in my opinion, he's having a decent year. He's having the type of year that I expected him to have, which I think I had him at 18 points and like 8 rebounds a game. He's right there. I mean, that would be a really good productive rookie season for for Victor. I'm sorry, Victor Wembanyama. But running away with the Jeff, there's no way. I mean, him and Chet are just hand in hand. You know, they're going to be vying all year for that Rookie of the Year title. Like I said, it's going to come down to probably which team has the better record. You know, probably OKC is going to get in the playoffs. That might actually hurt Chet a little bit because he has SGA as well. But again, it's going to come down, I think, to the very end of the season, barring injury. I mean, both of these guys, you know, something could happen. We don't know. But no, running away with it 100%, not at all. I mean, this is going to be a 1-2 battle for the entire year.
So I going back to your guy, Asar, I can see that flipping, you know, like Asar rising up if he continues on the path, because as mentioned, right now they have him 4th overall, again, via Sportsbook DraftKings at a plus 3,000. So it seems to me Vegas, you know, if they say Vegas knows all, it's going to come down to Victor and Chet. Yeah. But I didn't know that about Asar. I didn't know he was doing that on Detroit. Again, that just shows you what a bad team does. You know, your game, you know, in this case, Asar, his game doesn't get highlighted enough.
Yeah, and that's terrible because, I mean, the kid can flat out play. You're talking about a guy who can possibly be, you know, I think George Gervin holds the most blocks in a season for a guard, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, he can easily, get that number in his record books as well. Right. But, you know, with the SAR, you've got Cade Cunningham, you've got, you know, Jaden Ivey out there as well. You've got some players, so he's not going to get a whole lot of love. Yeah. But, I mean, you know, and the thing to ask you about Wemby, Jeff, is Vegas. You mentioned Vegas. How much of that Vegas, you know, odds on is all media driven? I mean, Victor being, you know, the darling of the league right now, coming into his first season as a rookie, how much of that is actually media driven? You know, I mean, it's going to be him and Chet. Yeah. So we got to see if Vasseur comes up. You know, Brandon Miller may pop up too as well. Yeah. But it's going to be, like I said, a year long battle between these guys.
Yeah, right now, obviously, as of this recording, it's coming down to Chet and Wemby. That'll likely be the battle throughout the season. Although, good thing Rudy told us about All-Star. You know, I did not know he was doing that in Detroit. Whoa, that just tells you why you got to win, Spurs, to get on those national TV games and, you know, get all the attention. Chet's getting it, Wemby's getting it. Brent, I mean, Miller, I mean, did we forget about him? It feels like, I mean, that's just the big shadow that Wemby casts on this rookie class right now. It's all about him. It's all about him. And then Chet, you know, just like Vegas, he's right there behind him. Yeah. So we shall see. But yeah, I'm with you. I'm going to sell too. I don't think Wemby's running away with it right now. I think we got to wait till maybe towards the end of the season, see where they stand. Coming up next, we're going to catch you up on all things silver and black. Some news from Blake Wesley to the Austin Spurs and more. Coming up next right here on Locked On Spurs with Rudy Campos. Hey, how does Thanksgiving sound? A free Thanksgiving. What about the fixings, all that stuff, all for free? That's why you got to go to Ibotta. This year, Ibotta is here to give you cash back and help to make sure your Thanksgiving table is complete, because who wants turkey without the gravy? Turkey is great, but we all know the best part of Thanksgiving dinner are the sides. With Ibotta, you can make sure that you get the whole family's favorite side dishes and the turkey while getting yourself cash back. Big holiday savings means big things for you. You don't have to go spend all that cash on the Thanksgiving spread without getting something in return. That's where you got to go to Ibotta so you can get your turkey and all your favorite sides for free. So starting November 1st, and for the 4th year in a row, Ibotta is giving you 100% cash back on your Thanksgiving feast. Just add the offers in the app to redeem for everything you need to make your Thanksgiving feast complete. All you have to do is shop at your favorite retailers, upload the receipt, and you're done. Ibotta gives you cash back on hundreds of grocery items, from produce to personal care to pantry goods, so you can make sure that you're beating inflation no matter what you're purchasing. Other apps give you points. You don't want all that. You want real cash back. And that's what Ibotta gives you, real cash back. You can put to your account, to your PayPal, or to gift cards. You can also earn cash back on hundreds of online brands like Lowe's, Macy's, Sephora, Best Buy, so many others. Download the Ibotta app right now. Use code LOCKED to get 100% cash back on your Thanksgiving dinner starting November 1st. You heard that right. Go to the App Store or your Google Play Store, download the free Ibotta app, and use code LOCK. That's IBOTTA in the Google Play or App Store, and use code LOCK. Also, I want to talk to you about Muslinger's Drive-Thru Coffee. You want to go there right now, 2404 Thousand Oaks Drive. That's in the 281-1604 area if you're in San Antonio. Open every day, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Go there right now. Daily drink specials. Literally, they have drink specials like almost every day. Like, just go on their X account, go to their account, Muslinger SATX, you'll see we have a new flavor. We have this. We have this. We have this special drink. They got it all over at Muslinger's Drive-Thru Coffee. Over 300 5-star reviews, cannot be wrong. They have the Sub-Zero. That's in honor of Frank Harris out of UTSA. They got the Alien. That's a hat tip to Wemby. They have the Red Bull infused Lightning Bolt series. That'll get your day going. They have their signature drink called the Mudslinger. They have it all only at Muslinger's Drive-Thru Coffee. Friendly staff, dairy alternatives. They have even mini donuts. That's how vast their menu is. It is so comprehensive. You want to go there right now. They're very active on social media. You follow them on X, Facebook, TikTok. What was it? What do you kids use? All that good stuff. Instagram at Muslinger SATX. Make sure to go follow it right now. Look, they're a proud local sponsor of Locked On Spurs, and they proudly serve the San Antonio community. 2404 Thousand Oaks Drive. Open every day, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Go there right now, San Antonio. Life is too short for a bland coffee.
Hey guys, this is Jason David Frank, the Green Ranger, and you are listening to Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia. It's morphin' time.
And we're back right here on Locked On Spurs with Rudy Campos. During the break, I found out that Rudy is actually working on how to solve the financial crisis in the United States. How's that going? How's that going, Rudy?
Good. I finally found out how to do it. Just produce this cap, like 1 million of them, and that'll solve every financial problem everyone's got.
Make sure to follow him on X at Sweep the League right now. Hey, we're going to catch you up with some Spurs news and notes that you may have missed. And kudos to Corpus Christi, Texas. I'm glad this happened because, Rudy, I found out that Corpus is big-time Spurs country. Like, seriously, our good friend, Nathan Ray Clark from Corpus, he's an actor now out in Los Angeles. He tells me, like, yeah, everybody loves the Spurs in Corpus. You're glad that it happened. And what is it? The Austin Spurs are going to play a game out in Corpus. Finally, they get some love. So Austin Spurs will be playing out in Corpus later on this season. As part of their community outreach, or I guess in this case, South Texas outreach. They played a couple of games in Laredo, Texas already, Rudy. But this is just good. I'm glad that Corpus, those fans out there, are going to get at least the Austin Spurs games. And who knows? Maybe they might see, City Sissoko out there, or Blake Wesley, or who knows? What other, rising star the Spurs have stashed away in Austin.
Yeah, and it's a good thing because they're going to get to see, guys on the rise, like you said, Sidi Sadoku, and then you've also got, like you mentioned, Blake Wesley. Dominic Barlow's been kind of balling through in Austin too. So it's a good thing for Corpus. Like they say, anything for Salinas. Now we're giving them the Spurs. So it's going to be great for them down there. I hope it's actually something that happens. And you know what, Jeff? It's a short, 2-hour drive down to San Antonio. Quick. So I'd love to go to a game if they were to do it again.
Absolutely. So congratulations, Corpus. Congratulations, the Austin Spurs. In other Austin Spurs news, the Spurs recently sent Blake Wesley to the Austin Spurs. I think that was obvious. He wasn't really getting a lot of burn in San Antonio. My only question, though, is with this whole point guard controversy, why not throw the kid out there? I mean, is this a sign that Blake maybe is still not ready for the league yet?
I think it completely is what you said there. It's the latter part. He's not ready for the league. I mean, he had some good spells last year, playing a couple of games, and he's got some good talent, but not NBA quality talent right now. I think it's still a work in progress. Austin's the best place for him. You've had Devontae Graham, I think, coming back from the Spurs, so that'll kind of help on the point guard situation for the San Antonio Spurs. But Blake Wesley, I figured he'd be in Austin anyway, so it's not a surprise to me. Yeah,
not a surprise at all. That Blake is out there. Hopefully, he will force the Spurs to rethink assigning him to the Austin Spurs instead of bringing him back to San Antonio, because the Spurs can certainly use help at the point guard spot. Who knows? We shall see. In other Spurs news, Rudy, are NFTs still a thing? Remember when it was all this big rage and everybody wanted them? Are they still a thing?
Honestly, I haven't heard of it since you mentioned to me before we got on. I was like, I thought
Well,
that was
because you're too busy working out the world financial crisis.
Yeah, I think it's still a thing to some people. And, when you got a hype train, you've got to jump on the hype train wherever you can. So if NFT is coming back, you're going to try to do certain things like that. But I've got to ask, why are you mentioning NFT to me? Is it Spurs related? I'm hoping so.
Exactly. Good segue there. The NBA Top Shot, which is the NBA's NFTs, a lot of N's here. NFT, I guess division, has announced that the first ever Victor Wembanyama NFT is now available. Oh. So basically, the video and the NFT that's captured, basically, it's just a GIF. Yeah. That's what it comes down to. Yeah. It's like a trading card GIF.
Yeah,
and it commemorates his first regular season debut against the Mavericks. They had the fans are in there. They had the fans waving the light up and down on game one, home opener. And then the play that's captured is Wemby's first 3-point shot. So if you're into NFT still, it's available. And if you're all about Wembanyama and scooping things up, everything about him, now's your chance. So I checked the marketplace.
I was going to say, what would be the price on that?
Yeah. Okay. Price. So the cheapest price that I saw, obviously probably changed, but the cheapest price, and mind you, just like a trading card, they go by serial number. So the lower the number, the better. The higher the number, the worse.
Yeah.
So the medium was 236. That's just the average.
Okay.
I saw the one. There was one person that pulled the one of 4,000. There's only 4,000 NFTs Wemby made. Over $3,000 for it.
For something you can't even
spend money. Would you spend money like that for an NFT? The one of 4,000 though.
Oh no, I don't think I would. On an NFT, I'm type of guy that I'd rather have it in my hands and see it and admire it that way. Not behind a computer and thinking, okay, I've got it on, my hard drive, and maybe and it goes to hacking. I mean, I pay that much money and somebody hacks it, I lose it forever. I'm just screwed. So no, I'm not paying. I'll maybe pay $20, $25 if it ever comes down, but not that high, man.
I can't believe $3,000 to own a GIF. That's basically what it is. But those are your quick Spurs news and notes to catch you up on all things silver and black. When do you do it here on Locked On Spurs? Rudy Campos is with Sweep the League. Tell us what's going on with your neck of the woods.
Yeah, so we're going to be back here really quick. You've got the NFL season actually coming to an end here in a matter of couple of months. So basketball starting up. We'll talk more Wemby, stuff like that. So gearing up for NFL draft too as well. So just stay tuned to Sweep the League wherever podcasts are available.
Exactly. Again, follow him on X at Sweep the League. Hey, we thank you for making Locked On Spurs your first listen every day. By the way, I don't know if everybody knows about this, but the Locked On Network that includes NBA, NFL, MLB, all those pro leagues are now on a national YouTube channel. You heard that right. So Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top stories of the day with local experts. The Locked On just network, the whole network's involved. So the national shows that will cover every league. You want to go to Locked On Sports Today on YouTube. Subscribe to the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel. Are you jealous that I had Cybertronics Free introduce Locked On Spurs now?
I'm very jealous. As a matter of fact, I remember texting you like, I didn't even realize they were in town, man. Then to hear you have the Cybertronics Free, I'm like, oh man.
So shout out Cybertronics Free, RC and Hot Rod. We're nerding out right now at the end of this Locked On Spurs. But again, thank you for making Locked On Spurs your first to listen each and every day. Free and available wherever you get podcasts. You guys are the everydayers. We'll be back tomorrow to look ahead at the upcoming Spurs game, Wemby talk, and much more right here on Locked On Spurs. And don't forget, Locked On 24/7 on YouTube. Go check it out. So for Rudy Campos, I am Jeff Garcia. We're going to put a lock on this episode of Locked On Spurs.